Look at the person standing next to you. They breathe the same air, feel the same fear, and bleed the same blood. Today, fear does not command us. We command it. The ground beneath our feet belongs to those who came before us and those who will follow. We do not take one step back. We do not bow. We do not break. Hold the line. Trust your strength. And let history remember what we do here today on Past the Silver Screen. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Past the Silver Screen. Today, I am joined by my lovely host, Steven, and a newcomer on the show, introducing our good friend and host, Mike. Welcome to the show, Mike.
Hello, boys. How are we doing today?
I don't know, man. After that speech, I'm feeling pretty ready to go.
I'm ready to go to battle. I'm ready to go to the wall.
Yeah.
Good.
I'm fired up.
Good. Well, as you probably all understand, after you clicked on this title of this episode, we are going to be talking about a masterpiece, something that we have all seen. And many of you know that we don't all live in the same state, but Mike and I do. And Mike and I actually went and saw this movie together. Steven went at the same time-ish, and we all saw Christopher Nolan's, as some would call it, his masterpiece, his work of art, and that would be the Odyssey. Gentlemen, how this episode will go about is we will talk about what we thought, our feelings, our thoughts and opinions on it, non-spoiler. And then towards the end, we will break it down spoilery, which, guys, I'm going to be completely honest with you. When people say, I don't know how y'all feel about it. Don't know how you guys feel about it. But when people say, hey, don't spoil it. And I'm like, yeah, don't spoil 3,000 years of literature.
Yeah.
It's been out for that long. There's been a book. And multiple people, look, I never read the book in high school. And I have read the book. I've told you guys this. But for those out there who are listening, it probably was in your reading curriculum in school to read this book, right? Like more times than not, it was in your curriculum. So you probably have read the Odyssey long time ago, but this is Christopher Nolan's adaptation of that piece of literature from Homer himself. So y'all ready to get into it?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. JT, I really want to highlight one word you said, and that was adaptation. And I think that that's what a lot of people miss about this movie. Just starting off, and before I say anything, thank you, boys, for having me. I am so happy to be here. This is awesome.
Absolutely.
I'm so starstruck right now getting to talk to you guys, but I'll geek out later. Exactly. Christopher Nolan was adapting this movie for modern audiences, and I think it was perfect. That's the word that we need to remember this whole time, is adapting it.
Yeah.
For us.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, JT, kick us off.
Yeah, I agree. Look, I'm gonna be straight up honest with you guys. I read the book last month, and I absolutely loved it. I had a fantastic time reading it. I actually read it and then listened to the audiobook, and you can find it on Audible if y'all are out there wanting to listen to it. There is one that I would recommend, and it is Ian McKellen reading it to you. So I had Gandalf and Magneto in my head reading me the Odyssey. It was pretty cool. But yeah, this movie to me was just an easy. I don't know if I've ever given an easier 5 out of 5. Like I really like as soon as the credits started rolling, I was like, oh, and there it goes. I went on Letterboxd and was like, 5 out of 5, instant. Like I didn't have to sit there and think about it, dwell on it, sleep on it. No, I sat there and immediately just 5 out of 5. That's how good it was in my opinion. It was it topped my movies of the year. Like it went above Project Hail Mary for me, which y'all know. I mean, both of you two gentlemen know I loved that movie. Project Hail Mary was fantastic.
Fantastic film. Also a 5 out of 5.
Exactly.
Exactly.
The
Yeah.
Odyssey was the Odyssey was better, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's hard for it to like. I don't want to say it's hard for it to not be better, but it did everything that I really wanted it to, especially coming from someone who hasn't read the book. So the fact that like that movie kept me on my toes for almost 3 hours, not knowing what was going to happen or the outcome. I thought it was just incredible. And the payoff was just the end of the movie is like the payoff. It's like, oh my God, you can finally breathe, you can relax a little bit, but there's still something that you're like, I'm still craving more from it. And I know that the book is like insanely long, and there's still stuff that they cut out from the book for the adaptation. But even then, I just want more.
I had read the book in high school, both the Iliad and the Odyssey. We did like a month or longer study on them in high school. So like I'm familiar, but it's in the back of your mind, you know. So when you see it come to life on screen, it's a completely different experience to what you have visualized in your head, I think. And like, dude, I don't think I could have visualized it any better than what was put in front of me.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
and to me, like piggybacking on that, visualizing what was on the screen. I mean, I like Matt, Mike, you and I saw this in IMAX, and just that entire cinematography was just. I mean, Christopher Nolan was in his bag with this one, and it was phenomenal. I like visually, I found myself picking my jaw up off the floor multiple times, and all it was a boat in the ocean, and I was like, ah, like it was
Yeah.
just so beautiful. Absolutely loved the visuals of this film. Um, yeah, there wasn't a bad shot. I don't think.
Not a one. And we have to mention The Undertaking too. This is the first ever film that has been 100% filmed in
Yeah,
IMAX. And I don't know if you guys saw, I think that we all saw, we might have sent it around from each other, the 300-pound box
yeah,
that they had to specifically build for the camera to get the close up shots that had 5 or 6 guys lugging it around at all times.
Mhm.
And like, what are we even talking about? Having that on a ship in the ocean while you're filming this, like, what are we even talking about here? Just that alone gives it like so many credits in my eyes.
yeah. It
Yeah.
Christopher
was.
Nolan is, oh gosh.
It made you like sit there and just be in awe when you watch this film. And like, I know people listening right now are like, okay, well, y'all absolutely love it. What are some nitpicks? I ain't got none. like
Yeah.
truthfully, I really don't have. I mean, if I were to say, I think people, not me, I'm not people. I think people would say the runtime is long. Again, my
I
question
could
would
take
go
longer.
back to you and say
But the pacing is perfect. There's never
Yeah.
one dull moment.
exactly,
It is
exactly,
it keeps it going. It never drops.
exactly. My if someone would have said like it felt a little long, like I would come back and say, have you read the book again? Like because like again, it is a multi-year journey for Odysseus to get back home to see his wife and his family. Like it may be an epic adventure type movie, but at the heart of it, the root of it, it is a love story between a man who literally went out to battle for his where he lives and for his home. He goes out to battle, and now we're seeing his journey home, and I loved it. I thought it was great. I will be seeing it again. That is no doubt in my mind. Um, so yeah, I mean, anything else y'all want to add?
I Steven, I feel like I've been rambling if you want to say a couple things.
Oh, I mean, the only nitpicks that I would really say that I have for it when people talk about the runtime is for me, I'm someone who I have no issue sitting in the theater for a long period of time. I could have easily taken like another 20 minutes. I guess in a way maybe some nitpicks is like there was maybe one or two scenes that we'll get into when it comes down to spoilers that I don't think got a chance to like really bleed. Like they showed you what was going on and then they kind of cut away with like a resolution or maybe just the next scene that we're getting to. So there was some moments where I was like, I wish I got a little bit more of that. But I still think the movie does a great job at. I mean, there's so many different storylines going on in this movie. It is
Mm-hmm.
insanely impressive on how they can get you to keep track of what's going on with every single one. You know what I mean? Like
Facts.
I think it's a masterclass. Like JT said, this is Nolan's probably best film in his filmography, and
Mm.
Hands
it's just
down.
impressive.
I agree with you wholeheartedly, and I am also somebody that I put my phone up. I don't look at my phone once the trailers
Yup.
start. I'm completely locked in. I don't like besides like popcorn and drinks and stuff like that. I am 100% focused on the movie. I could sit for 4 hours. I could sit for 5 hours. Same with tattoos. You know, like if you got to do that for a tattoo, why can't you do it for a movie?
Right.
I think that one of the things I did want to mention is that Christopher Nolan is a master of his craft of cinema, but he's also a student. And that's one of the things I noticed about this movie is that there are a lot of shots that mimic other directors, but they're Nolan flavored. And I thought that was incredible. I got like hints of Ridley Scott. I got some Robert Eggers in there a little bit from some of the scenes.
Mhm.
I got a little bit of Ari Aster, some Stanley Kubrick, and then even like a little bit of Quentin Tarantino in there too, man. And
Yeah.
it's like he takes all of these elements and makes them his own in such a way that it's like you know that he loves every other person that does this. Like there's no I don't know. He just seems open to anything Nolan does, and it's just incredible the way he works
For
to me.
sure. He never stops learning. And I think that's the great thing
Yeah.
about these directors that are still at the top of their game and they still go on for a long period of time is that they're not like, okay, I know it works and we're just going to continue to run with it. He builds on
Hmm.
it, improves, and it's like it's awesome to see.
And that's why this is his best film in my opinion.
Yeah.
This is in my opinion his best film. I'll keep saying my opinion, but it is truly I told it to JT, I've never had a cinema experience like this.
Hmm.
Like I was in awe at every single thing I saw on screen. I didn't think it was possible.
Yeah, it was. It was definitely one of those where, like, when you're watching it, you like. I think my attention is so put on the screen that if I hear anything, any like bag opening, any talking, like it makes me mad. Like it gets me even more mad that I'm like, shut up.
Yeah.
Like I'm just like, stop. Just stop. Just watch what is on the screen. Don't 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 do this.
Don't take me out of the movie.
Exactly. Exactly.
There were a couple of people in our viewing that were getting up and walking out at crucial
Yes.
scenes that it seemed like to me, and I was like, how are you not like just completely locked in? I was like, is seeing them walk out for me, I'm like, there's something off in your brain that you're not just completely in awe of
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was. I know there was one guy who was like taking his sweet time as he's walking past, and I'm over here like leaning
Yeah.
my head like one way or the other, trying to.
Steven, he was like ambling, and if I had been behind him, I probably would have like given him a quick one to the kidney or something like that. Like
Like it was, yeah, it was
ridiculous.
crazy. But we also need to talk about a little bit is how incredible that Christopher Nolan can assemble this cast of star-studded people. I mean, the list goes on and on. I made a video on our TikTok. If you're not following, go follow Past the Silver Screen on TikTok. I made a video saying that basically it would be a better question to ask who's not in this film because the list is so long, and I know all of us have it pulled up, on our notes and stuff, and looking over it. But yeah, it is just one of those where every time I heard someone was cast in this, Steven, I was like,
Mhm.
oh, and there goes another star, and oh, there's another star.
Right.
Oh, you have Zendaya in here? Awesome. Oh, Tom Holland's in here. Great. Robert Pattinson. All right, keep on going. Like it was that, I mean, it was that great.
But you know what it is though is that from what I've heard, I mean I don't know the man, but I know that like from what I know, he hand selects the
Yeah.
actors. Christopher Nolan does for specific roles. So it's like him just knowing that these people were who he wanted to do these things and what they continue to do on the screen is mind blowing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like just the cohesiveness, I guess, between him and them. Like they brought his vision to life wholeheartedly.
Absolutely.
Every single person.
Yeah. And to play off that point for you, Mike, really quick, JT, before we jump into the next thing, I love the point that you make where he handpicks everybody because when it comes down to this cast, for me watching it, it felt like there was no ego from any of the actors. No one actor was like, I need to shine in this scene. It was really just like everyone going off of their strengths, and it just makes the movie 10 times better. You're more immersed. I thought it was more so a team effort than it was just, let's see how good these actors can be. So I thought that
It
was
literally had to
impressive.
be.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I mean, yeah, it
No,
had
it
to be a
had to
team
be.
effort.
Yeah, I
Like the undertaking is just immense.
yeah, there's no bad performance in this like
No.
like I do wish that we got some more screen time with some of these characters, but when those characters were on screen, absolutely they were rock stars.
Immaculate.
Like it was
Which
yeah.
I love that ties into Steven's point too of like you could have gone longer. Like you could have like let a couple of things just draw out a little bit
Yeah.
longer. Another 20 minutes. I could have gone another 30 minutes personally, but
Yeah.
some people would have. I mean, that would have been a gripe, you know.
Yeah.
But I agree wholeheartedly. Like I could have seen so much more from every single person. Honestly,
Yeah. It was just again, we're talking about how we feel about the film, everyone. We're gonna get into spoilers here soon, but um yeah, I'm very excited to see this movie again. I think this is going to be one of those films where, yes, they have it in multiple versions, like viewing versions, I should say. Mike and I saw it in IMAX. Steven, I'm sure you saw it in what regular, just like your regular
I
screening.
Yeah,
Um,
I saw it in what's considered like Ultra DX or something like that with Marcus. Whatever their most like the biggest screen that they offer, we saw it there. Nothing compares to
yeah.
what you guys saw though.
Well,
it's well.
no, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I was gonna say not even what we saw compares to like what we were supposed to see, right? And
Yeah.
that's the craziest thing to me. Like if you go on the website that we all looked at and see the differences between every single version of the film that they're releasing, it's like you don't even know what you could possibly be missing. You got to go to one of the 26 theaters in
Yeah.
America that offer the
Yeah.
70 millimeter version to see Christopher Nolan's intended. Like it's
Yeah,
crazy.
but I will say, I think this would be a movie. Like now that I've seen it, I think this would be a movie that I would travel to go to a 70 millimeter.
Most
Like
definitely.
this would be one of the
I'd take a trip to Nashville with
yeah,
you. Oh yeah.
absolutely. Like it's just one of those where it's like, okay, we know this movie is here. You got to make a trip. For us, it's 3 hours away. Steven, I don't know how close the closest 70 millimeter to you is, um, but like yeah, there's even Letterbox does this thing where you can now, if you go on the Odyssey on Letterbox, it'll allow you to have like a punch card of what version you saw the movie in.
Wow,
That's
really?
Yeah,
awesome.
it's yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
That is neat.
I went in there and I punched out like 70 or IMAX, and I was like, oh, there's more versions. All right.
You see that 70 millimeter just glaring at you.
hmm
The
hmm
thing about it is, I didn't know that there were so many different versions of IMAX alone. Like I thought we had in our theater the cream of the crop,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah.
every time I went to IMAX, I was like, I'm seeing this the best way possible. But it's like, I'm not,
Nope.
and that's crazy,
No.
dude.
Yeah. But I do think that everyone listening, if you are unable to see it in the highest format, that is completely okay. Go see it anyways. Go see this movie anyways.
It's still an experience
right,
nonetheless.
right. So I highly recommend seeing this movie. Um, Gentlemen, do we have any other thoughts before we get into spoiler territory?
I don't think so.
Not me.
All right. So we are going to talk about the Odyssey spoiler edition. So if you have not seen the movie and you would like to see it, stop here, go see it.
Click off now.
Do the whole thing. But if you do not care about spoilers and you're like myself and the book's been out for 3,000 years, here we go.
Well, to that point, if you've seen Stephen King's The Mist, that's a completely different ending than the book. So
Well, yeah. I mean, you're right. You're right. There are differences between the book and the movie. I will say that.
but we are going to spoil
Yeah,
it.
we are going to spoil it. So here's the countdown: 3, 2, 1. Let's talk about the Odyssey.
Yes.
Yeah, this is a true love story at the root of it, between Odysseus and Penelope. As we all know, I'm sure everyone knows the Battle of Troy between the Trojans and the Greeks, and how the wooden horse and they came out of the belly of the horse and all this other stuff. stuff. Which, by the way, that scene, oh,
Amazing.
like it was like no sound. It was all just uh like espionage type, like mystery of like, oh, what's gonna happen now? And like you see everyone, all of the men, Agamemnon's men in the belly of the horse, just like cramped, and like even in they were saying that men died in that horse, and they were saying that like people drowned, people froze, like they were in there for a long time,
Hmm.
and it was just that scene when you know they finally brought the horse back to Troy, and it's like, interesting. It just so good, so
That
good.
scene, like you to your point, that scene where they come out of the belly of the horse is almost like Assassin's Creed esque, where it's
Yeah.
like all you hear is kind of footsteps a little bit, and then like you
Yeah.
get a notice, and then they're gone, and you kind of see like all the happenings and stuff. And as soon as Odysseus drops that torch, and you see all of Agamemnon's men outside of the gate, it's like, oh my gosh,
Yeah, we are
like
here. We are here.
whoa, yeah. And inside of the horse, every scene from inside of the horse just so fraught and just so
Hmm.
like they're literally in there with dead bodies and
Yeah.
like someone said excrement and like stuff like that,
Yeah.
and obviously waste. Like it's so tense, and just to have an entire village sieged after all
Hmm.
that, you've got nothing left. Like
Yeah.
you're literally just running on adrenaline at that point.
Yeah.
Crazy.
But I mean, that wasn't the only like really good scene, because we also have to talk about, we talked earlier about the cast, but um, Odysseus played by Matt Damon. Then you have Penelope played by Anne Hathaway. Telemachus played by Tom Holland. Like that is the core family right there. Telemachus at this point in time is 100% like I, what, 18, maybe 20, somewhere around that age.
I assumed like
Like
19. Yeah.
he's older. Yeah, he's
You
older.
even you don't even know those days though, because like they could be like 14, 15, and it's like those were the times like they would
Yeah.
have to take the throne at that age. So but
Yeah.
possibly, yeah, like I'd say 19, 20-ish,
Yeah,
with Tom Holland playing him.
and where where we are or from, where Odysseus is from, and his family is Ithaca, and Ithaca does not have a king. They do not have a person on the throne, and Penelope is a widow at this moment. I mean, she doesn't know. Like she technically is a widow. She does not know what happened to Odysseus. She does not know if he's alive, if he's coming home, if he's dead. Like no one
It's been
knows.
20 years.
Exactly. And now we have some suitors in her home trying to make her their wife and become king of Ithaca. And one of those is Robert Pattinson's character,
Hmm.
and Antinous. And I feel like Robert Pattinson does a phenomenal job at playing like the quote unquote villain of this
So
movie.
slimy.
Like just, yeah, dirty, slimy, like tries to get around corners that he probably shouldn't. Manipulation at its best.
I don't know
Um,
if y'all have seen it, but have y'all seen The Devil All the Time with Tom Holland and Robert
yes,
Pattinson?
yes,
Yes.
That
yes.
was on Netflix. It reminded me of him in that role. It's just
Mm,
that gross, like off-putting, because he was the priest in that role or the preacher.
Hmm.
And
yeah,
Tom Holland, and they have the same kind of clashing of like that just tense fraught relation. It's so good,
yeah,
and he is so good in that role. I love post Twilight Robert Pattinson. I
yeah.
love him.
Absolutely, absolutely. But then we get to like more tellings of this story, and one thing that I really loved about the movie too, Steven, is I loved how it wasn't like all flashback. It was like flashback of a story that we're being told right now,
Hmm.
and then you went to current times. And any time that Matt Damon was on the screen, it was a flashback, because we're leading up until him coming home at the end of the movie. Um, well, I mean, what do you think about all of that?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, that was probably one of my favorite parts of the storytelling was that they could really do a good mixture of being like, here's a use of a flashback, but it's also our first time seeing it. And sometimes when they bring you to present day and they kind of fill you in with what's going on and then they jump right back, I thought that was really cool. I don't like having all the answers right away, and I like seeing things kind of play out. So that was really fun.
Yeah, Yeah.
Well, it's the storytelling framing, right? Because they only knew of what was going on through stories. So the whole point is
Yeah.
Telemachus trying to find out what happened to his father and him just hearing word of mouth from each person. And it's leading up to all this stuff to where we finally see Odysseus in, yeah, exactly, going through everything. But it's just, again, it's all hearsay. It's all word of mouth at this point. We don't know if this is what he's actually going through until we see it. It's
Yeah.
just crazy.
Yeah, and that's a good point because back then, what the Bronze Age, I believe it was. That's what Odysseus says. Like the Bronze Age is ending. Um, i- Back then, there was no there was no way of getting information to anybody. It's word of mouth. It's storytelling, and
Songs,
yeah,
stories, yeah.
yeah. And so like Telemachus being this person who wants to know if his dad, like he said, he has a feeling, he has that like intuition that his father's alive and on his way home. He goes to different places and he goes to Sparta to see Menelaus and he talks to him. Which shout out to John Bernthal, great
It was
performance.
really good.
Oh, yeah.
And then what I love too is when we're watching the Odyssey, and I don't know about you guys, but have y'all seen the Brad Pitt led Troy?
Yes, sir. I used to have it on DVD.
That movie, I don't know if there's really a like things you should watch before the Odyssey, but if there was, it it doesn't mean anything in the sense of this movie, but like watching Troy and seeing what happened then and then watching the Odyssey, you kind of, I mean, to me at least, I had a better understanding of like, oh, okay, like Helen went from Ithaca to Troy, and basically, what was John Bernthal's line in that movie? He says something like a face that would
That launched 1,000 ships.
launch,
Launched 1,000 ships.
and
Yep.
then it turns her head, and she's like scarred, and she's like, but I guess it only launched 500 now, and I'm like, bro, like that's like
Yeah.
you can yeah, you easily can see, okay, Helen knows that she messed up, she knows what she did, she caused that war basically, and now she's like, you know she's wanting everything to get back to normal, and Menelaus is like, I fought with your father, but I don't know what happened to him, and he's telling stories of Odysseus to Telemachus before like Troy and like leading up to that battle. And I thought that was pretty interesting as well. Do y'all have any other scenes that stick out to you the most, like leading into the movie?
I mean, if we're talking about specific scene, like, I don't know if do you guys want to keep it like linear of how the movie went, or like just talk about a specific scene that stood out?
Yeah, we
Because
just-
Whatever you'd like.
the pig scene to me, I'm a huge fan of like body horror. The Thing is one of my favorite movies of all time. That scene, looking over at your wife JT and seeing Madison's face, are the reasons I love those scenes, because she was in absolute disgust and awe, and the practical effects are some of the most incredible I have ever seen. Like, it just, the way that the face is distorted, they're literally shoving food into their mouths as their faces are being pulled apart and they're being morphed into something completely different. And it's one of the most unsettling things I've seen in a long, long time.
Yeah.
It's, ugh.
Yeah,
That-
and
that
Cersei
moment, too,
being
like,
in
right
that
as-
scene-
Right as you see the guys walk in and you see all that food, at the moment I was like,
just
this
know.
is not right. Nope, don't like it.
Well, even
And-
even leading up to that, there was tigers, there was lions, leopards, and I was
Yeah.
like,
Panthers, yeah.
how did they get like when I was watching it, my immediate thought was, now how did all those animals get on this island? Like I
These are-
was
Yeah.
like starting to question it, and I was like, and
But
you couldn't hear them; they were very silent. And then you saw the bird squawking, and then I was like, okay, something's going on. And then Cersei appears, and I was like, something.
And at this point, the crew they don't have any trust in Odysseus. They've left him at the ship. He's gonna go hunt. So they're broken up now. Odysseus is by himself, and he goes to hunt to get some food. He shoots a deer, and he comes upon something that's pretty peculiar.
yeah, yeah,
It's a human being.
yeah. It is not. It is not a deer. It is. But we've completely missed out on this part, and I do apologize for
I
our
know.
listeners. Every time that Odysseus goes to hunt or goes to use his bow, he always plucks it. and it makes
Oh gosh.
and shout out to Ludwig Göransson because oh my gosh,
So satisfying.
that pluck and then that little pling, like that sound that he makes. Oh, it
It's
was
like a
so
brain
good.
itch.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
So
was.
good.
It
it is
was
definitely a brain itch.
phenomenal.
And also, one thing I do want to mention when it comes down to the sound design of the movie, one of my favorite moments is the siren song. When you have all the guys putting in the stuff their ears, you have Himesh Patel's character. When he puts it in one ear, you can hear the left side of the like this theater go out, the right side, and then you're just mute, and it's just no
Yep.
noise. I thought that was
And just
perfect.
Matt Damon screaming tied to the post. Oh
Yes.
gosh. And then you see, I'm not entirely sure of, but the one of the men pulls the wax out of his ears.
Because they see the
And-
mermaids. They see
Yeah.
Yeah.
see like
the beautiful women.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and he pulls the wax out of his ears and jumps in
Oh,
the
what a
water.
scene.
And I was like, oh, and he's gone.
What does Matt Damon say? It's everything you wanted it to be in one moment, and the next
It's
moment it was
horrific.
everything. Oh
And
gosh.
that's
Because you
what's
see
so
him just.
amazing. Like when you see that guy jump from the ship, they're trying to pull him, but after he's already gone, you see them crying while still rowing the boat because it's like
Yeah, they knew.
their friend is
They knew.
gone. And
Yeah.
I think that's one of my favorite things about the siren song that they didn't do in the movie is they didn't show us what it actually sounded like. Because
Yes, sir.
no
I
one is
loved that.
ever supposed to know what that sounds like. It's supposed to
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
your wildest dreams, but it's also supposed to be the most horrific things you'll ever hear. And that's
Well, that-
perfect.
That was one of the things about Oh Brother Where Art Thou, right? Is that like you hear the what is the siren song in that you know what I'm talking about? The
I know.
three women that come out.
Yeah, I know what you're
Yeah,
talking
they're
about.
like we hear all of that, and I just thought like this was a complete inversion of that, and I thought that was incredible. And back to the witch scene real quick, when they're like before they turn into pigs, when they're just sitting there stuffing their mouths with that like unknown
Oh.
meat, and just like they're just like you're going crazy on something obviously.
Yeah.
But it's just like that meat is like stringy and long and weird and like
Yeah.
it's like
It's
we
disgusting.
didn't even
so
mention the
good.
Cyclops scene either.
Oh,
Cyclops
yeah,
scene.
Yeah.
Whew.
Again, ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening to this and you're like, "Oh, you missed the scene," guys, this movie was almost 3 hours long. Yes, we are going to miss something, and we apologize. But if you don't want us, like, if you know that we missed it, comment down below and tell us, "Hey, this scene was awesome." Like, tell us what scene it was your favorite in the movie.
Well, probably I'd like to come back and like after a second or third viewing and maybe like go over things that we missed the first time or something like that if we could possibly sometime down the road.
Oh yeah.
But it's one of those movies that deserves it. And it's like I thought the same thing of Obsession. You guys did a great coverage of Obsession. I listened to that probably 3 or 4 times. I'm not gonna lie, that episode is one of my favorite episodes of y'all's.
Thanks, dude.
And yeah, dude, it's just like it's one of those movies that it has to be experienced again.
Mm-hmm.
It has to. It demands it.
Yeah.
And that's because of the way Christopher Nolan he commands the screen now, man. Like I
Yeah.
don't think there's anybody that does it like him.
Yeah, I found myself just really loving cinema like right now, and Christopher Nolan is one of those where, you just got to thank for that reason. We can do a whole episode later on like ranking the Nolan films,
Ooh, let's do it.
because he has 13 out right now, I believe, and like
He's not slowing down.
13 really good ones. But what I will say is like this movie, the Cyclops scene, Mike, like you mentioned. Oh my goodness! Like, again, from reading the book, I knew it was coming, but the way that it was executed on screen, the practicality of said Cyclops, oh, so good.
And that's another thing that we've talked about. We talked about it beforehand. Is Christopher Nolan's dedication to practical effects. And again, I mentioned The Thing earlier is a very heavy practical effect movie, and this is the kind of thing that I love to see in cinema nowadays. Curry Barker has mentioned that like practical effects are the way to go, and we've seen some cool CGI. However, that Cyclops being practical, a giant 60-foot puppet. Because I expected something CGI when it came out, right? Like you expect a big old monster, and it's like, okay, well that's. But when I'm looking at it and I can see the paint blotches and I can see like it interacting with things on the screen, I'm like, oh my gosh, dude, that's like real. Like,
Yeah.
that is in camera. It blew my mind.
Yeah, there was a few moments when I was
Yeah.
watching that scene being like, okay, so did they film an actor and obviously just like digitally just resize him
Force
to where he's
perspective.
bigger? Yeah.
Exactly.
And then, like you said, Mike, when you see the interaction with the walls and you're like, oh my God, wait, there's more to this. And then when they revealed that picture behind the scenes with that puppet, I was like, this is why Christopher Nolan is a master at what he does, because he uses CGI scaringly. Unless he really needs it,
Yes.
he finds a way
It's to
around it.
enhance. It's to enhance other the practical
Exactly.
effects. It's never to completely take something over. It's like what he was doing in the Dark Knight with like the car crash scenes. It's just enhancing the fire a little bit to make it pop on like on screens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's one of those things, man. Like I don't know how you would even like think to undertake that, right? Like because a lot of people would just think like let's do it in post, but he's just like no, let's build a giant 60-foot puppet that we're gonna have bite a man's head off,
Yep.
Yeah.
and like it's just crazy, dude. And the ship scene JT mentioned well before the pod that like that is in the ocean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The ship breaking apart, all those they filmed that in this ocean with the 300-pound camera that they're lugging around.
Insane.
Like
Yeah.
goodness gracious.
It was it again. The Cyclops scene for me was very unique in the sense that like it looked like the way that the Cyclops looks with like the saggy skin and his one eye and just like he's grunting and making these noises, and then all of a sudden you start hearing him. And even Odysseus's men were like, "Is he talking? Like we didn't know he could talk." And he was like, "We should have reasoned with him." And Odysseus like, "I think that time has passed." And like just sticking the giant like rod, flaming rod into the Cyclops' eye to get him to be blind so they can escape this cave.
Putting the hay on their back so
They're
as
so
it's feeling
smart.
the sheep.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. I mean, Odysseus is a smart man. Like he is genuinely like that's why Agamemnon was like, "Yeah, I want you to be one of my right-hand men
You're
because
my best generals.
I mean, I mean, he was the one who came up with the Trojan horse idea. And what I love too is like this adventure of Odysseus getting back to Ithaca to see his family is not only a love story, it's not only an adventure, it is a trial and tribulation for a man who really starts to open his eyes to what he's really doing. And the moment that we're in Troy and we see all the craziness go on in the city and people dying and people getting beheaded and whatnot, he kind of has this like, oh my god, like he watches the Trojan horse burn, and he sees like the statue like get beheaded, and like, he sees images of Athena played by Zendaya, which great casting choice by the way. I just everything about it was just like a very beautiful story of a man who knows he's done wrong but wants to change, and he has like smite and like anger towards the gods. And he even asks Athena in one of the scenes where he's like, why is it so hard to understand the gods? And she says, understand? Who doesn't understand lightning? Who doesn't understand thunder? Who doesn't understand fire? And that to me, when I heard that to me, I don't know about y'all, but it told me that this is why we don't need to see like big CGI gods or like big like just throw a clap of thunder in there, throw some fire in there, and that is that god. That is Zeus.
Yeah.
That is,
The
Poseidon.
symbolism.
Yeah, it's the symbolism that is more effective, because I've seen people review the movie and it's like, oh, I would love to see Zeus. And it's like, why? Like what? Like what? Like
You don't need to see a god.
You
But
don't.
then
need,
you're gonna hear the whole thing. We've heard the casting gripes about not seeing any Greeks. What do you want to see Jesus on screen, man? Like,
Right.
it's a ridiculous argument. And to that point, JT, I think that oh gosh, we've seen so many stories from these ages about like giant egos, like we take over nations and things
Yeah.
like that. Like we are undefeatable. But the thing that I love about Odysseus is that he does self-reflect, and that's like kind of the whole point of the movie is a self-reflection. And that yes, the way it ties in with Zendaya's character, we talked about spoilers, but like that whole payoff.
Yeah.
I've heard people gripe about that. Like Zendaya's character was a delusion the whole time. It's like, no, dude. Like it was literally like self what's the word I'm looking for? You know what I mean? Like almost self-immolation in a way, like his own prison.
Yeah.
He was trapping himself.
Well, and,
Yeah.
and
Right,
that's
like-
and that's because Calypso was doing that to him for all these years.
Yeah. With those lotus flowers.
Yeah, I mean he's been eating these for 7 years on this island with this beautiful lady, and I'm not talking just about Calypso herself. I'm talking about the actress.
Charlize Theron.
Yes, and I just think like, you know, Athena was trying to break Odysseus out of this spell, out of this like his own prison, like you said, Mike, and he's like, okay, you've got to, you know, you gotta remember your family. And he's like, I have a family. And like the one scene when Calypso said that he was like trembling and almost was like having seizures, he was like clutching, you know, the pendant that Penelope gave when he left for the Battle of Troy, and he never got rid of it. And she said that you were screaming someone's name and it wasn't mine. And then he was like, Penelope. And I was like, at that moment I was like, yes, like go, like get back. I love that scene.
Yeah.
Another awesome scene that we did kind of glaze over. I'm sorry to the scene that's literally right behind you, JT, the Laestrygonian,
Yes.
something like that. Yes, the giant fight in the woods.
Yeah.
When Matt Damon turns that child around and it's a giant child,
Yeah.
the size of him, and he's like, "What the dickens?"
He's like,
Yeah.
and then
he's like, how old are you? The kids just start screaming. He's like,
oh no,
yeah, no, please don't do that. Steven, what was your reaction when you saw those practical men, not CGI'd, practical men running like giants at Odysseus and his men?
Yeah, I thought it was. I mean, when I wrote the review for the movie, I said that it was just beautifully horrifying because there's some things that just do not make sense. And with those guys, when they were rushing and just basically cutting people down, I thought it was honestly it might be one of my favorite moments from any island that he visited, because you also have that one scene where Odysseus's men run into that portion and the trees move. So then they just get stuck in this cage and they're just stabbing them with the swords. You're like, what the heck is going on? And then
you don't even realize it the first time. Like the trees are just already there, but then we see the trees moving around Odysseus.
Yes.
Oh.
And like they get back to the ship, you see everybody trying to get on him, and these guys are in the water, rocking and pulling the boat apart. I'm like, dude, what is going on?
And what,
I think it's perfect.
and we know that like the size comparison of the giants compared to Odysseus and his men. But what's crazy is like when they are in the ocean and like Odysseus is swimming with his head above water, and these guys are just like like the water is coming up to their chest, just grabbing the boat and just like rocking it. I was like, bro, that is insane. But the symbolism of Odysseus actually killing one. Yes. And I was like, they got one. They got one of them. And I was just like, oh. He was saving Hamish Patel's character, yeah.
Specifically Hamish Patel's character, yeah. When he shot it in the eye. Did you guys notice the armor details of those giants too? Like how it looked like they had been formed with stones?
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh, dude. I thought that was so sick.
I love how
it was
form-fitting it was for them as well. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is.
It literally looked like they had put on like a plate of metal, and then like another one took a stone and beat it to like form.
It is so perfect the way that everything is just flushed, and there's zero flaw in their armor except for the one that Odysseus found, and that is right
in the eye. Yep.
And it is, and we've seen a lot of eye and headshot kills in this movie from Odysseus.
Yeah.
And that was awesome.
Yeah, that man is like a literal sniper with a bow and arrow. Like,
well, the first time we see him string the bow is when he does the 12 axes.
Yeah. In the like the dining room, the hall, like and speaking of that scene, I mean, there's a couple other scenes in there, but actually we'll save it for the end. But leading up until we get to the end, Odysseus hears and goes to Hades, and oh my gosh, that scene to me was the most I can't even speak about it because it is all of the men that have died that were with Odysseus, and you see Sinon, you see Agamemnon, like you see all these characters, and you're just like, oh my gosh. And Elliot Page, bravo, my good sir, for absolutely that scene where he drinks the blood, and there's a basically the men had to go to Hades to understand and learn how to go what's next to do. They have to make a sacrifice, so they sacrificed two of Circe's, I believe it was Circe's animals, puts it in the container. All of the dead men arise, and the only way they can talk is if they drink this blood, and they drink the blood. And Sinon is talking and basically saying like, "You lied to me," and he was like, "No, I made you believe the lie," and like, just that was like kind of his eye-opening moment, I believe, in seeing this. And then he sees Agamemnon, which seeing him again, we talked about this plenty of times. I'm sure everyone else that is listening has heard this. Agamemnon was just aura farming the entire movie.
Yeah.
Bro gets on screen, is just menacing and just standing like, it was crazy how he looked.
Like Kylo Ren levels
Yeah.
of aura farming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like he starts talking, and he's and even in death, which is crazy. Even in death, Agamemnon and his men still bow to him. Or I mean, Odysseus and his men still bow to Agamemnon, even when they know he's dead.
Yeah. You
And,
all see him get down, like, my lord, and you're like, whoa.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you found out what happened to him. And you see that when they leave to go back to Ithaca, Agamemnon goes one way, and Troy's like, "Oh, Odysseus is like, "Oh, we'll go this way. We'll probably beat them if we go this way." And that's where all chaos ensues. But Agamemnon gets home, and he's a king, and he wants to please the gods in the most, like, to get home and safely, and to get to where he's going safely. And he knows that to please Poseidon, he has to sacrifice his daughter, and he does just that.
Mm-hmm.
And he, like, in that scene where he's talking about, he's like, when I really wanted to go to Troy and you know, and take over, he's like, I grabbed my daughter and sacrificed, you know, to bless the seas for a quick trip home, or a quick trip there, or whatever, an easy way. And then that pisses off his wife. And so this entire time that Agamemnon's been gone, she's been planning to murder him. And when he gets home, everyone is showering him and bathing him with golds and riches and flowers. And then he gets home, and him and his wife are about to have an intimate moment. And then, pow, she stabs him right in the neck and kills him. Murders Agamemnon for what he did to their daughter. And that, I was like, whoa. Like,
Yeah.
that's crazy. Like, just seeing his story too. And Steven, you touched upon it, like all these like little small stories, like going, like intertwining into the actual main adventure. We needed to hear that, because we needed to know why Agamemnon died. He didn't die in battle. And even you know, Odysseus was like, "I'm trying to get home like you." And he's like, "Oh, well, you better be careful what you see when you get home." And he's like, "What do you mean?" And he's like, "Well, I died." It's like, it's not all, you know, it's not all glamorous. What did y'all think about the Hades scene with like Sinon and Agamemnon, and like hearing what the next like train of thought is? Because then, I mean, that's where we get to the Cyrus song.
Well, that's when Tiresias tells him, like, if you go, your own hope for saving your men is what's going to kill your men.
Yeah.
So, like, that's when, and that's James Remar playing Tiresias, by the way.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Basically gives him, like, knowledge of what's going to happen. And then Odysseus, again, has to lie to his men when they're going through, so that way he doesn't lose all of them, and he only loses, what, 2 of them, I think, at that point?
Yeah.
Get taken, instead of, like, I think it was, they said that he would either lose all his men or he's going to lose 2 of them. So he had to lie to him. Instead of going through the whirlpool and jumping through like they wanted to, they had to navigate around it.
And that's his whole trick too. Like, you see after they get past that whirlpool where Hamish Patel's character was like, you knew that was gonna happen, and he was like, yeah, but if I said something, there was no way that you were even gonna follow along.
He was
Like,
like, "You got me." He was like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
yep," because he was acting so like weird during like when he was like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, there's a whirlpool. Like we're not gonna get around it." And he's like, and Hamish Patel's like, or his character is like, "Yeah, we could put the oars in the side of the boat and steer it and da da da."
Shoot out of it.
And Odysseus
Yeah.
is like, "All right." He's like, "All right, cool. Like, go ahead. Like, I'm not gonna stop you." But yeah. Also, can we talk about the one jump scare in this movie was when they finally get past the whirlpool in that dragon looking. Oh my gosh. I jumped so hard. I grabbed Mike. I was like, oh my God. Like, I was like, it was crazy.
Because it was right after you think they're clear, and then I was like, oh yeah, we made it. Ah!
Yeah.
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 And what Steven said earlier is the perfect, sufficient way to put it. Beautifully horrifying.
Yeah.
The entire it is so, and I'm a huge horror hound. JT's a horror puppy. Steven's a horror kitty. And I think that like, again, I mentioned the elements that he's a student earlier, and like I did feel Robert Eggers in this. Like some of those
Yes.
shots, I straight up felt I was feeling The Witch. I was feeling, and like some of the absurdist comedy, and that's another thing about Christopher Nolan is like there's humor in every single one of his movies too. Some of the absurdist comedy again mirrored Ari Aster to me, and I love that so much. Some people were having gripes about the accents. How did y'all feel about that?
Didn't bother me.
It didn't take me out of it. I was
Not even a bit, right?
No.
I was truly just like, okay, I get what's going on, and
I think it's going to make it timeless because you think if one actor had messed up an accent, people are going to gripe about
Yep.
that. They're going to find
Exactly.
anything to whine about. But again, I think it lends to its timelessness. I think this film will last for so long to come as like a triumph of cinema. Truly.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it never once made me say, oh, well, and maybe it's just me, but I don't particularly put together accents in a movie like I don't like
It's just dialogue.
the example I'm going to use is like Spider-Man's from Brooklyn. You don't hear Spider-Man sounding like a hey yo let me get in the cab. Like you don't hear him talk like that. Like
right, yeah.
like, what are you doing? Like and then the actor who's playing
I'm Spider-Man.
Yeah, I'm Spider-Man. Give me some money. Like you don't hear that. Like it doesn't that would that take people out of the movie if he was accurately, accented? Like it doesn't like I it doesn't take me out of a movie if someone who is playing a character is not the accent or the say or race. I don't care. That actor is
Yeah.
playing someone like I know a lot of people were upset that Lupita Nyong'o was playing Helen Troy, and it's like okay, and
Right.
do
It's
you
like
know what
Yeah.
do you know what race Helena Troy was?
And this ties into Christopher Nolan handpicking his actors because Lupita Nyong'o is one of the best actors of our current generation.
She's great.
And he picked her for a reason, and that reason was met. And that's one of the things that I had to say about this movie is that every single expectation I had was blasted. It was completely shattered. Like I expected, like, oh, this is gonna be a great film, and it was just like, nope, this is one of the best movies I've ever seen in my life. Period. Like, okay, well, cool. And I want to mention something also really cool. I'm sorry, I don't mean to keep rambling, but
Oh, good.
there was an actor in this movie that was also in Oppenheimer that I think is really cool for Christopher Nolan to be including him in. It's Sean Avery. He's a former NHL
Yes.
player. He played for my Detroit Red Wings. I've played for the New York Rangers, a couple other teams. He was the biggest pest in the NHL, and now he's acting in Christopher Nolan movies. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. He is the John Cena of
I tried to, at one point, I had mistaken Logan Marshall Green for him, and I was like, hey, JT, that's John Avery. And you were like, oh, no, it's not. And I was like, you're right.
Wait,
but,
it's not him.
but he does get a couple of scenes. I don't think he gets any dialogue, but he's in a Christopher Nolan film. He's credited right here on IMDb. I'm looking at him. He doesn't have a name because I don't think he's ever like directly referred to.
Yeah.
But I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, no, that is really cool. Steven, what did you think about that entire like sequence of going from Hades to, kind of Odysseus knowing what he has to do next, what his next goal is?
I think the movie does a great job at planting the seeds beforehand that obviously Odysseus is living with a lot of trauma, and that's not something that is really ever discussed like face on. But with me, like kind of taking a step back a little bit to when they took the walls of Troy or opened the walls of Troy, and you see Zendaya's character get beheaded. I and a lot of others in the theater after we come out were like, he's living with like the ghost of the woman he killed, who takes a place as his goddess in his head. And as hopefully, if our audience knows, if they don't, Athena is the goddess of wisdom and strategy. So it's one of those things where I thought it was really cool that he's been living with us for a long time. And when it comes on to him being on the boat after Hades, he almost seems like unfazed by it. Like he knows he can't save everybody at that point. So he's just like, we're just going to continue until I know what the next step is. And it's tough because it also leads into that one moment in the third act with Penelope's character when he goes in as the beggar and he's sitting by the door. And I have that entire speech that he gave her written down because that basically is just going over and telling his entire story of like, we're not the people you thought we were. We are the people from this, like, we are the people from the sea, and we're the people that you're telling stories about. It is just perfection. I think that last hour is amazing.
It is. That people from the sea line was so good, dude.
Yes.
I love that so much.
Because they see it as like the people of Ithaca have heard that the people of the sea is a curse. And they think that, if someone from the sea comes to our home, that means trouble. That is, and Matt, Odysseus is like, yeah, kind of, like, yeah.
It's what he's been doing the entire movie, right? He's been going from island to island from the sea, literally causing trouble. Like, these people were just living their lives, and Odysseus comes through, and he's like, we can make our rest here. And it's like, start this fire. Like, don't you think the people are going to come back? No, just do it. We'll welcome them. And it's like, you're stirring all this up, and then the realization again is so good, man.
And then
what a great payoff.
And then we get to the point to where it kind of all ties together with us seeing him on the island, not knowing who he is, not knowing what he's there for, with Calypso, and that is the breakage of the boat in the storm that Poseidon is giving, and that is where Odysseus goes by himself on his own personal journey, and we can assume that his men perish in the ocean, but Odysseus washes up on shore with Calypso. We've talked about it. Calypso gives him that lotus flower. It's supposed to, maybe I'm incorrect about this, but isn't the lotus flower supposed to help with like not remembering, or is it like it was supposed to help?
It's a
psychedelic. It's like a hallucinatory flower.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking. And so like that's where Steven, he finally sees Athena, and he's like, and she's like, remember, and she starts just saying remember to him, and now his mind is starting to become stronger, and now he's like, you've captured me here this entire time. How long have you been here? And she's like, 7 years, and he's like, oh yeah. Like I need to leave, like. And so he makes a raft. He goes. He finally gets off of the island, and he gets washed up with Athena sitting there. And he's like, "Where am I?" And she says a line that's like, "Don't you recognize your own home?" And I was like, "Yes, he's home." Like yes, like now we're getting into the meat of it. Like now this is where he's really about to get at it. But one thing I do want to say is between the movie and the book, when he washes up on shore of Ithaca, Athena in the book changes the way he looks, so people don't recognize him. In the movie, they just give him like baggy clothes,
a beggar's cloak,
and like just raggedy clothes to make him look like he doesn't belong. I mean that whole thing, but like again, moving from our main character of Odysseus, Penelope is sitting in her home. Telemachus is like, hey, we need, like, the only way to do this, and the only way for us, our family, to succeed is you find a suitor, and then I become king, and then we get rid of him.
Yeah. Well, that's a plan that Odysseus has already told him because of the fact that Telemachus notices him on the dog pile. Yeah. And that's a great payoff too. Yeah. With that, there was something. Oh gosh, I completely forgot.
Well, it was when John Leguizamo's character. He has been the most loyal servant to Odysseus, even when Odysseus has been gone, and he constantly was like, "He's coming back. He's coming back." Like, don't.
And he's still following his command, the rules that he set in place.
exactly. And so this entire time he's been so loyal to a man who was never there. And then Odysseus finally arrives and they meet eye to eye, or well, they meet face to face. And because John Leguizamo's character is blind, and what is his name? What's the
I think I said it earlier. Let me see real quick.
because like
It's
he does such a fantastic job at like
Eumaeus.
Eumaeus. Yeah. And Eumaeus is just loyal. That's all he is. He's just a loyal, farm herder, and he gets beat up because Antinous wants the throne, and he wants nothing of Odysseus' name to ever be said again. And so, he wants to stop Telemachus that just came back from Sparta. So Antinous makes a devious plan to basically just stop Telemachus, and it doesn't work, of course.
Mhm.
And that's when Odysseus finally meets his most loyal friend, and I love that scene. I really did, because it's like Odysseus knows who he is, but it wasn't the other way around.
Yeah. And it's like he's always been waiting for him, and it's like, for me, it's I know a lot of people were out of the movie were like, well, how do you ever forget someone that you're so close with, their voice? This is a man who is, first of all, blind, so he can't really base a voice to a look. And second of all the suitors that are in your home for over 10 years at this point, going through and just really just constantly abusing this guy and just really just mistreating him. There's no trust. So I think he silences out all the voices he has heard, and he waits for that command essentially from just the voice he will want to listen to, which is Penelope.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's again just hearing him get ready for battle, and he knows what's going on with the suitors, and he's like, okay. And Steven, you said the line earlier from what he said. Do you have that?
From his actual dialogue, that speech he gave Penelope.
No. The when he's with and I forgot his name now. John Leguizamo's character.
Oh, it's when he's
Eumaeus,
laying
thank you.
down. Yeah, when he's laying down.
Yeah.
And he was like, when Odysseus comes, he's going to bring vengeance. And then Odysseus just goes, he's going to bring it all. And he just walks out.
Yeah.
And you're at that point, I'm like, yup, I'm going to start clapping soon because I'm so ready for what's
No.
going to happen next.
No, you're not.
Christopher Nolan won't hear it.
He won't
I
hear
will.
it. He won't take a
He
bow.
won't hear it.
I'll hear
But
it.
I
I'll
think
hear it though.
that's one of the best moments in the movie. And I think the one thing that I really love that this movie did, though, is that there's so many moments when, at least for me, where I'm like, come on, just take that hood off and show everybody that you're Odysseus. And you just see him being a beggar, but he's toying with his food at this point because everyone around is like, who the hell is this plate licker? Like this guy who's just asking for scraps. And he gives Antinous the little piece of wood from the drawing when Antinous was a kid taking Sinan's place or wanting to take Sinan's place. And he's like, how did you get this? And you just see Odysseus just walk past him. And it's just, it's so amazing. I love that moment.
Throws the
chair at his head.
him.
I kept saying I want him to go full Tarantino.
Yeah.
Just turn around.
completely.
Because at
There
that,
was this.
and to me, that's when Antinous was like, we gotta start. We gotta start this now. We've gotta. Our plan has to be in place. Because really, he's trying to provoke Telemachus to attack him, so he can kill him and start a fight. But that's when Odysseus was like, I have something for you. And he's like, for me, a beggar. He's like, what do you have for me? And he gives him the little stick, and I was like, yeah. I was like, get him.
So good.
Yeah, it was fantastic. And then that's when, Stephen, you mentioned the scene with him and Penelope sitting on the stairs, and that's when the maid comes to wash his feet, and she sees the scar, and he like immediately turns it and was like, no, like he like shakes his head, and she was like, okay, like she starts getting excited, but he doesn't. He has the, I mean, Odysseus, most likely, if he wasn't a changed man, he most likely would have walked in that palace and have been like, I'm home, like, where's my wife? Where's my, what's going on? But this, he has to do it like tactically. He has to do it to where Penelope has to, like, he basically is saying like, hey, Telemachus, because again, Telemachus find out that Odysseus is here because of the dog, and he's like, I need you to tell your mom, hey, get a suitor.
Remarry.
I'll be in the hall. Yeah, and it's like, remarry who? And it's like, to everyone's surprise, she's not getting remarried because Odysseus is there, and just that entire scene of Penelope being like, I will remarry, but you have to do one thing. No one here is Odysseus, and no one will ever be Odysseus. But if you can do one thing that Odysseus did, you can string this bow. And everyone was like, oh, easy, I can do it. No, they couldn't. No, they couldn't. They can't string worse shit. They were trying so hard. They were literally just
like that. There was one guy on the floor in a pretzel that was trying to like.
Yes. Yeah, he was like trying so hard, and even
Penelope just reaches down,
and even Antinous speaks up, and Tim like, who says it? Someone says like, "How about you try?" And he's like, "No thanks." He's like,
"I'll wait my turn."
I'll wait my turn. It's like, buddy, your turn is coming up. Like you might want to. And then finally he is like, this is absurd. Like no one can string this bow. This is not even a real test. And then that's when Odysseus comes in and he's like, I can try. And they're all like, boo, get this man out of here. Like he doesn't need to be here. Like what is he doing? And like he grabs the bow and he tries to string it and everybody starts laughing. And then we get the one of the most epic scenes in the movie is Penelope turns her head to walk away, and then he flips the bow around, bends it, strings it, plucks it, and she's like, she turns around,
and then right after that, Corey Hawkins' character goes to say, "It's Odyssey," bam, right in the neck with an arrow.
Yep.
You're done, boy.
Yep.
And then that's when it kicks off, and everybody is just on the plate at that point. Antinous is running around trying to hide from it. You ain't going nowhere, you little bitch boy.
That's the one thing I did want to bring up, too. Like, to Mike's point, with Antinous running around, Antinous' entire movie is so cunning, yet he's so cowardly. And I think it all comes down to that last minute of him, where you see that bow get strung, and you see his just... all the color in his skin is gone. And
he starts trying to like tell people what to do. He's like, "Go do this, go get him."
And at this point, just Telemachus and John, Leguizamo's character have already planned. We're gonna put all of the weapons up in the storage, and you have one of Antinous' men. I don't know what his name was in the movie, but
Logan Marshall's green character. It was
I don't know if he has a set name.
Melanthius.
So he sends him up to the storage to go into the room, and right as he does, you see him about to try to come back out, and John Leguizamo's character shuts the door, and he was like, "Oh no, you don't," and then locks it, and it's just it's magnificent.
He was the cow herder. He was the cow herder. He was like, he's like, "You're too loud." Like he's like,
too loud, cowarder.
Yeah. And I was like, yeah, that's what he gets, but he does get their weapons to Antinous. And again, Antinous was like,
bashes a hole through the ground.
Yeah, he was like, he was telling people what to do while behind a pillar.
Yeah, grab the
shields. There's swords.
Grab the swords.
Grab
the spears. Like, yeah, and it just
hiding the whole time.
Exactly.
Just right behind the pillar, just like shields.
Yeah,
swords.
and then it gets to the point to where they kind of like circle around Odysseus. And he finally gets to this point where Telemachus drops the sword to him. He catches it, and then that's when he starts going crazy with the sword. He gets shot a couple times, gets stabbed a couple times, but that's not going to stop him. He's endured this journey to get back home. A couple of spears and a couple of stabs aren't going to stop this man.
The shot of him walking up to Penelope after it all, and he just has arrows sticking out of him. He just looks like so good.
And I'm not gonna lie, that tricked me because he was sitting there and she's like, don't die, you just got home, don't die. I was like, he might die. I was like, he might.
And again, and you would have spoiled that because that's different from the book if he had died.
Yeah, true, but it was still just, I mean, that entire final chapter, like you said, Steven, was just so good.
The perfect payoff.
Yeah, it was phenomenal. Like I said many a times, I cannot wait to see it again. Yeah, I mean, that's...
Does he kills Antinius with the little Athena thing, does he not? With the Athena thing that, or who does he?
I thought it was
he shoved Sinan's stick thingy in his mouth, and he
down
in his
throat.
mouth.
Yeah,
he
yeah,
said
that's
something
it.
to him about, like, when you see Sinan, like, you tell him. I forgot what he said in that moment.
Make him eat his lies, I think.
Yeah.
Was it something like that?
No, he's
yeah.
like he was the bravest warrior that I knew.
Mm-hmm.
And he like shoved it.
Well, I meant what Sinan said to him, like make him eat his life when he was in Hades.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think, which is great, because it also leads back to the beginning of that part where originally Sinan, when he gave what did he give Odysseus at the beginning? I think he gave him that little stick thing of his, and he was like, "You tell my father, like if I die, you tell my father, like what I did." And he was like, "And also, feel free to make some stuff up."
Add some things. Yeah.
And again, that plays to Nolan's humor, dude. Like he always finds that way to just a little bit of levity too within all like the. It's just always just. It seems like he nails everything. Like every emotion that I want to feel, I felt cyclically. I felt dread. I felt sad. I felt happy. Like everything, man.
Yeah. I mean, it was again, just a phenomenal movie. Like we've talked about it for a while now on the podcast, and I think, like, coming to the end of the episode, this entire movie was one that, like, instant classic. I will go see this anytime that it's on my TV. I will sit down and watch it. I will be getting like the 4K, Blu-ray, HD, whatever. Like, I will be getting this. Like, Steven was lucky enough to get the freaking Trojan horse popcorn bucket.
Yes, sir.
And the IMAX 70mm popcorn bucket.
Yeah. Before we recorded, I actually just ordered that on the website and showed the guys. So there will be a review coming for those when those get here. I do have the horse already though, so I might throw some of my little Despicable Me minions in there, because all I could think of is when the belly dropped, just minions coming out and all that. I just thought that'd been amazing. That'd have been so great.
I would throw up. Bananas.
You would become a minion. But no,
I think what's really cool. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I want to say what's really cool is that he did bring this movie into modern audience. I mean, this story is now going to be like reconsidered by people in schools and stuff like that. Like it's gonna have a resurgence in just pop culture in general. And I went out and I bought that book. I showed Steven earlier. I bought the book. Paid $10 for it. I've got the Iliad and the Odyssey. So it's like, again, like it's just gonna bring this back to people in a way that's just unprecedented.
I can see a lot of English teachers now saying, like, okay, let's read the Odyssey and let's watch the movie and let's see what, like, let's compare and contrast.
There's not a bunch of like curse words in it. It's not a movie that you can't. I mean, there's like a couple of here and there, but it's like the dialogue is just like, I mean, it gets what it needs to get done. And I don't know, man. It's my movie of the year.
Yeah,
I loved Obsession. It's my movie of the year.
Yeah, like I said, it outbeat and outranked Project Hail Mary for me on my list. It is number one so far. We're just in July of 2026, so we still have a couple months to go and a couple big movies to get to. So I don't want to say, and I don't want to. I do think the Odyssey and Project Hail Mary will be in my top 5 by the end of the year. That's all I'll say.
I think if they somehow get out of the top 3, there's a big problem. You know what I mean? Like,
well, it just means that we're in a good spot in cinema is what it means.
Yeah.
Like realistically, and I think I'd mentioned Curry Barker earlier. He said something that I found fascinating is that like people want original cinema nowadays. This isn't exactly original cinema, but it is the peak of cinema.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know if, I mean, it's it feels original enough to where it is Christopher Nolan's Odyssey.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Like there is Homer's Odyssey and there is Christopher Nolan's Odyssey.
Yeah. Yeah. Very true.
And the one
Very
thing with
true.
this film that I'll definitely be doing is I'll be picking up the script and the screenplay for this because there are
For
so
sure.
many things that I want to just delve into. Because for the audience that doesn't know, JT, Mike, and I, obviously we love film, we love movies. Mike and JT are actually writing a little short film right now, and I've been writing a short film for the past 4 years. And whenever I can come across like a script or anything like that for movies that I just admire and I truly appreciate, I buy all of them and I'll just make notes in them with highlighters. I'll write different story beats down because there's a lot you can get out of it. But I think with this movie alone is good. It's just a gold mine of information. You know, everything
Straight up.
in the literature is just it's so beautiful.
It's the classic adventure tale, right? Like you can reform it into your own story and it will fit the structure of an adventure tale because that's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what the amazing thing about this. Oh Brother, Where Art Thou is an adaptation of the Odyssey and a fantastic film.
Yeah.
But yeah, Steven, we have been working this for a while. I'm excited to see what you come up with. It's gonna be awesome, dude.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah,
There's a lot of
again-
great things coming.
Yeah, yeah. So make sure you all are stay tuned to Transcend Entertainment. Steven nailed it on the head. We have a lot of very, very cool things coming down the pipeline. But Mike, thank you so much for being a part of this and joining the crew.
I'm absolutely honored.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're honored to have you. So we can't wait to talk more stuff with you all on Pass This Over Screen. Steven, any last words that you want to say?
No last words other than for the audience asking what all those teasers were for and what these little drops are about. This is what it is. This is a new era for Transcend Entertainment. We do have another big announcement coming in the next few days in regards to our other show, and I just want you guys to be on the lookout for that.
Absolutely. So thank you guys so much for tuning in and listening. If there's anything that you want to do, need to do, go see the Odyssey, and then go see it again,
And again,
and then see it again after that. So
And again.
yeah. So thank you so much for listening, and we will see you next time.